Okay, bestie, let's talk about cat people. You know the type. Someone says, I'm more of a dog person, and the cat person doesn't argue. They just stare, slowly sip their iced coffee, and you can feel a silent judgment downloading in HD. Then 5 minutes later, they show you 47 photos of a cat named Soup who looks like he pays taxes and hates everyone equally. So, what's the psychology behind people who love cats? Because it's not just, aw, cute. Cat love is a whole personality ecosystem. It's a lifestyle, a spiritual practice, a mild obsession, sometimes a coping mechanism, sometimes a rom-com with fur. Let's break it down. First, cats are the perfect emotional mirror for people who are allergic to forced enthusiasm. Dogs are like, you are my sun, my moon, my purpose, let's go to war together. Cats are like, you may exist near me, earn it. If you love cats, there's a decent chance you appreciate relationships that aren't based on constant performance. You don't want fake cheerfulness. You don't want someone who loves you just because you walked into the room. You want consent-based affection, the kind where attention isn't automatic, it's chosen. A cat is basically the embodiment of, I like you, but don't get weird. And for many people, that feels refreshing because cat affection is not loud. It's specific. It's earned. It's subtle. A cat sitting next to you is like a quiet compliment from someone who never compliments anyone. It feels like winning an award you didn't apply for. Like, wow, you chose me? I'm honored. And cat people live for that. Which brings us to the second point. Cats are validation, but in a psychologically spicy way. When a dog loves you, it's consistent, reliable, beautiful. When a cat loves you, it's like being selected by a tiny CEO who could fire you at any moment. So cat people often enjoy the challenge. Not the toxic kind, more like the I understand boundaries and I respect autonomy kind. Cats don't respond to pressure. You can't force closeness. And if you try, they will vanish into another dimension under the couch. So people who love cats tend to be drawn to emotional dynamics that are about patience, observation, and respect. Cats reward you for being calm, for being steady, for not chasing. Basically, cats are the final boss of attachment style development. Now third, cat lovers are often secretly sensitive, but they hate being perceived as sensitive. Let's be real, many cat people act like they're cold and unbothered. Yeah, I'm chill. Meanwhile, they cried because a stray cat blinked slowly at them once in 2019. Cats speak in tiny signals, slow blinks, tail flicks, ear angles, the difference between pet me and I will sue. And cat people get good at reading subtle emotional cues. They notice micro changes. They sense moods fast. That's emotional intelligence. It's also a trauma skill sometimes, but we'll get to that. Cat love often comes from a personality that's tuned to quiet, nuanced connection. You don't need someone yelling, I love you, every hour. You want presence. You want vibe. You want that peaceful moment where you're both existing in silence and it somehow feels intimate. A cat is basically a living do not disturb sign that also purrs. Fourth, cat people are often super serious about being independent, theirs and yours. Cats are iconic because they're like, I will be in your house, but I have my own life. They don't exist to please you. They don't constantly adjust themselves around your emotions. They aren't insecure about being alone. They'll disappear for 6 hours, come back like nothing happened, and act like you're the one who's clingy. So if you love cats, you might have a deep respect for autonomy. You want closeness, but not suffocation. You want love, but not control. You want connection that says, I choose you, not I need you to function. That's why a lot of cat people hate small talk and love deep talk, because cats themselves are like, no conversation, only presence. Fifth, cats appeal to people who like mystery. Dogs are straightforward. Cats are cinematic. Your cat will stare at the corner of the room like there's a ghost paying rent. It will sprint at 3 a.m. like it just received an email from the government. It will knock one object off the table with the slow confidence of someone who knows there are no consequences. Cat lovers tend to enjoy the weirdness, the unpredictability, the little bit of chaos wrapped in elegance. They like creatures that feel like they have inner worlds. Cats feel like roommates who are also mythical beings. And if you're the type of person who romanticizes life a little, who sees personality in everything, cats are basically irresistible. Now 6, let's talk about the soft trauma reason. Some people love cats because cats feel emotionally safe. Cats don't demand your energy the way some humans do. They don't interrogate you. They don't make you explain yourself. They don't say, "Why are you quiet?" They don't guilt you for needing space. They just exist. And if you grew up in an environment where your emotions were too much for people, or your needs were inconvenient, or you had to constantly manage someone else's mood, cats can feel relief. A cat is the kind of relationship where you can be low energy and still be accepted. You can be sad and the cat will sit near you like, "I don't know what's going on, but this seems like a sit situation." That's regulation. That's comfort. That's nonverbal companionship. So for many cat lovers, cats are not just pets, they're nervous system medicine. Now, eighth, cat lovers are often have a strong sense of humor about life, because you have to. You cannot live with an animal that screams at the wall, bites plastic for fun, then sleeps like an angel, and not develop comedic resilience. Cats humble you daily. You can be having a serious existential crisis, and your cat will jump onto your keyboard and type KKKKKK, like, "I hear you." Anyway. So cat lovers often bond with the absurd. They find joy in little moments. They don't need big excitement. They need tiny chaos and a warm loaf on their lap. Eighth, cat love is also about aesthetics, let's be honest. Cats are like art. They're living design objects with opinions. They're clean, graceful, and photogenic in a woke up like this way. Even ugly cats are cute in an iconic creature way. Cat people appreciate the vibe, the softness, the cozy energy. That's why cat people love candles, warm lighting, and playlists called Sad Girl Autumn but Healing. A cat is basically the mascot of romanticize your life. Now here's the most important part. Loving cats doesn't mean you hate people. It often means you understand people. Cat people tend to appreciate boundaries. They respect consent. They can handle subtle emotional signals. They like connection that's real, not performative. They're often deeply caring, but they care in a quiet way. They're not always the loudest in the room, but if you're in their circle, they're loyal. They'll show up. They'll remember the small details. They'll send you memes when you're sad. They'll also send you a picture of their cat with the caption, "He's literally you." So if you're a cat lover, here's the diagnosis. You're probably someone who craves peace, depth, and authenticity. You like relationships where love is chosen, not forced. You're sensitive, but you've learned to protect your softness with humor and boundaries. And you don't want chaos unless it's tiny, furry, and knocking your drink off the table for no reason. And if you're not a cat person, that's okay. But just know the cat person is reading this and thinking, "My cat would hate you." And honestly, that's the most cat thing ever.